Hello, testing, testing. How do I sound?
You sound amazing. How do I
You
sound?
sound good. Let's do this.
Okay. Trust me when I tell you I had Spectrum out here doing all kind of magic. I'm like, listen, I work from home, man.
I feel you. Welcome to the room, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in for a treat. We got some great, great, great content for you this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you're at. This is Women in Business Club. My name is Jared Albertin. I am a leader in the Women in Business Club, big advocate for women in business, women startup founders, etc. And I bring in the best content into women in business with women that are crushing it. And Dawnna is one of those women. And we're going to be talking about how seven-figure coaches or how coaches can spark a revenue frenzy. All right. So Dawnna's going to introduce herself, let you know what this room's all about, and we're going to get right into it. So, Dawnna, you got the floor.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Dawnna St. Louis, and specifically, I work with people who are subject matter experts and coaches that want to shatter their revenue ceiling and they want to turn their expertise into a high profit business selling high ticket offers. And quite honestly, if you're sitting there going, ooh, my customer will not buy a high ticket offer, either A, you don't believe in your product, or B, you don't believe in your customer, or C, you're not chasing a high profit business. So that's what I'm all about. And I'm really here to help you answer some of those pressing questions and really tell you how we do this. How, 1 year I took $2,500 and turned it into over $500,000 in 1 year. And I want to show you specifically how we do that kind of magic. All right. This is going to be one of those where you should feel free to come up, ask questions, get some live coaching. If there's something I say and you don't agree with it, I don't bite and my feelings don't get hurt. Please feel free to challenge it. I am currently a seven-figure coach. I built a $250 million tech consultancy. I have a deep business background, and I can really tell you how to turn your intellectual property, how to turn your expertise into a high profit business. And I'm actually going to um, pass this back over to Jarrett, just so we can get it kicked off. And then I'm going to grab a link that I'm going to put up at the top up at the top of the screen. I'm not doing a good job talking today.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. You're doing great. But yeah, I would love for everybody in this room to one make this interactive. Do not sit on your hands and sit in the audience and just listen. Come on stage. She's going to break down some of the things that have helped her create revenue frenzies. Go from six figures in a year to six figures in a month, seven-figure yearly. And so come on stage, ask questions when she's starting to break it down. And then Dawnna, I'm not sure if you've ever met Miss Cooper Home Loans, but I brought her up because she is killing it out here as a businesswoman, and I'm sure she could learn a lot from you as well, and vice versa. So I wanted to make the connection. And Miss Cooper Home Loans, would love for you to introduce yourself real quick, and thank you so much for coming up to support the stage. Not sure how long you can stay, but I think you two should definitely link. But Miss Cooper, please introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you, Jared. Thank you, Donna. I already like what I'm hearing. My name's Alicia Cooper. I'm known as Miss Cooper Home Loans. I am on this app to debunk the myths associated with getting into the lending industry as well as accessing funding. One of you guys Some of you guys may know I am a seven-figure coach, and it came from the assistance of people like Dawn. So I haven't met you yet, Dawn, but my coach is what got me there, who showed me how to monetize my services. I've been in the lending industry for 17 years. I made a really great income, but then I was able to add on a seven-figure stream when I monetize my coaching services, my programs, and my classes. I sell a high ticket item. I sell a $20,000 course here on Clubhouse. We do offer our Clubhouse family a discount of 50% off, where it is $10,000. But guys, it's not just me who could be in this space. With the right assistance of the right coaches who show you how to strategize, monetize, you definitely can turn the tools and the services that you already have into an income stream. So I love being in this space. I probably can only hang out for another 15 minutes because I've been on Clubhouse all morning. But I definitely want to hear more.
I got to tell you, I'm super psyched. I love what you said in regards to, because I did the same thing. A lot of people are always like, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you go from, being homeless at 19 to building a $250 million business? How did you turn 2,500 into a $500,000? Quite honestly, besides having my own methodology, and I already had a methodology that worked and I was already really successful, but then being able to do it again, having a coach, having someone on the outside that's looking in, that's giving you that objective opinion and that objective advice and their objective expertise, it's a game changer, isn't it? Don't you think so?
Oh, 100%. I believe every coach should have a coach. I've
Yep.
had a coach the majority of my career, but even now, as a coach, I have a coach in that space. I have my business consultant who goes through and critiques me,
Yeah.
offering that so that we always get better. One of the things that actually, I don't know if this is a secret, but allows me to continue to sell my services is by my coach making me improve them. Each class is getting more information or a different set of information. So it allows us to have several income streams. I have the
Yep.
play, which we teach people how to become business purpose brokers. I have Recession Riches, which is a class that my husband and I teach on finances, just to name two of them. And all of this happened once I had a coach that showed me, hey, Alicia, this is different. You can monetize this component. You can monetize the business credit coaching. And one of the things I love about coaching is that it gives people the tools so that they learn to fish, and
Yes.
they learn not just to fish, but also how to build the business so that the community can import, export, and scale, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
build your own village. So we're more than just teaching you how to fish, but how to build that village and feed the village comes along with the coaching.
Absolutely. And it's so funny. So I need a lot of help. So I have three coaches, right? I have a mindset. So and I'm a expert, right? Like the one thing that I do is I compete heavily in a men's dominated field of sales, and I'm one of the top requested female sales professionals out there to come and do keynote speeches, coaching, training, etc., right? But I have three coaches. I have one who is my business coach, specifically just on business strategy moving forward and just thinking about different ways to slice and dice my business. Then I have a mindset coach. I would tell you right now, my mindset coach has been major dollars to me, right? Because when my business coach comes up with something that I have a self limiting belief on, it's my mindset coach who helps me get past that self-limiting belief so I can implement that major opportunity that my belief coach, my business coach came up with. And then I have a sales coach because I need someone out there besides myself who's keeping up with the selling strategies within corporate while I keep up with them outside of corporate. And so for me, I have three coaches and they have been critical. And so for real, seriously, when I meet a coach that doesn't have a coach, I'm always like, I always got a little bit of a gas face because I'm like, wait a minute. How are you a coach and you don't, and you know how important coaching is, but you don't have one? It just seems so like it lacks congruence for me. Like
Yeah,
when,
I'm with you. I think every coach should have a coach or have a mentor. You need to be able to clearly define, but sometimes your mentor is too much of your friend. You need that person that
right,
can give you that honest information and put you right on track or help you create that track.
right.
I always say a lot of times my coaches that I've had, I may have gone to dinner with them a couple times, but my mentor, I go to dinner with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, my coach,
Yep.
I'm often mad at them. I'm
Yep.
frustrated when I leave the meeting because they're pushing me into places I'm not comfortable, like a personal trainer. They're saying, Coop, you can go this far. And needing the mindset coach, I think that's so important when you break out of six figures to seven figures. Always say what your heart can cover. because I was a single mom living in the projects. And when it came to me selling high ticket items, I was like, oh, these people can't afford it. It's like
Yep.
they're making a rent payment or making a mortgage payment. And I had all of these limiting beliefs. But now my business partner and I have set a lofty goal to help 250 people earn $1 million. And we sell a high ticket item and people pay it and they reach those numbers, because there's things that if I had of stayed in my own way and thought that I needed to do the work and just do the loans for everybody, they would not themselves have been able to turn into seven figure earners. But
That's
my
right.
limiting beliefs of saying that, hey, they're not going to be able to make that payment, to several of them taking out the program and then being able to pay it off in their first closing.
Yep.
It's just amazing when you have somebody there to get out of your own way and out of your own mind. And the way my coach always says, Coop, some of these things you can't do it unless your heart can cover it.
That's right. And I love that you said that. And that's the one thing, and then I'm going to get started, but that's one thing that is so critical. Understanding, so you and I have the same background, right? I grew up in the projects and I was homeless at 19. And it wasn't that I suddenly had this amazing belief that jumped out of nowhere that I could do anything and everything. Like I didn't wake up one day like R. Kelly, like I believe I could fly. That that is not how that happened at all. I didn't believe that I could do most of the things that I was doing, but it was my coach who actually showed me that I could go into a business. And my first deal with my business intelligence company was $4 million. I had never before that moment even seen $10,000. No one had ever even written me a check for $10,000. And I'm going in and negotiating a $4 million deal. Listen, the mindset coaching that has to go along with talking about that kind of money when you've never even sniffed at it is amazing. So I'm obviously a coach. I'm a big advocate for coaching. And the reason that it means so much to me is because I do remember when I didn't fit in corporate, right? I wasn't one of those people who fit there in corporate. I wasn't one of those people who, I mean, I had done amazing. The day that I did something around $225,000, $75,000 in bonuses, plus another $250,000 that I was going to get in bonuses. This was after I sold my business intelligence company. This was after I had retired and needed something to do. Here I am, a vice president, an executive vice president over their enterprise projects. And the day that they gave me best leadership award and best team award and most this and all these other awards was the same exact day that they walked me out the door and said they were going another direction. I'm like, did y'all just miss that I was the person who walked across the stage and got all the awards today? And they basically said, they're like, yeah, we know, but we're just going to go a different direction. And I felt like crap. And I know there's a lot of people in here who are coaches who felt that way, who felt like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not good enough? And it wasn't that I wasn't good enough, which did take me a while to get to. What I had to realize was that they couldn't handle everything I was bringing to the table. It was literally too much for them. And I was like, wow, y'all honestly can't handle this. This is kind of crazy. You're good with struggling and not being successful, and I'm just not. And so when people are sitting here going, I became a coach because some of you, because I didn't fit in, you didn't fit in because you're too big. And that's okay. So now it's time for you to go and do big things. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to let you know it. Please do put comments in the chat. Please do feel free to come up and get coaching. I'm going to talk about a sales frenzy or a revenue frenzy and how you seriously shatter your revenue ceiling in your business. And we're going to start with the very first thing right at the top.
Hey,
Go
Donna,
ahead.
real quick before you
Yeah.
jump into it, I would love for the folks in this room to follow my direction right now. Donna is about to give everybody some incredible game that costs a lot of money to typically get. So, to thank her for her time today and to share this information with as many people as possible, I want you to go down to the bottom where it says that number one in between the chat feature and the scissors. Click that, go to the top where it says share on Clubhouse, click that, and then go ahead and click that blue share button. If you want to add some emojis or add a comment to tell people what's happening in here, feel free to do so. Really would appreciate that as well. But at the very least, click that share button, click share on Clubhouse. I would like to see that number one go to 10, 15, 20, and let's share this information because it's very rare for Dawnna to be on Clubhouse. So make sure you follow her and click that always on notification so you don't miss her if she does come back. But what she's about to drop is priceless information. We'll love this to be shared with as many people as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and practice what I preach. I'm going to go ahead and throw some fire emojis because she's representing the Fyrebrand. Click share. You see that number go up. Appreciate the folks that have shared so far and keep sharing the room as Donna's dropping these gems. All right, Dawnna, back to you.
All right, cool, cool, cool. I'm actually trying to follow your instructions too. And there's some supposed to be some fire over here. I'm gonna put money since I don't know fire, so I can't find the fire emoji that quick. All right. I feel like I did my job. All right. So I'm gonna just jump right in. And by the way, if y'all see Doug up here, Doug is my coaching officer. He works for Fyrebrand. He's absolutely amazing. So anytime you get on the phone, you're either gonna be talking to myself or Doug. It is not one of those things where you work with our company and you speak like some random customer service rep that doesn't know where we are. Let's get started. So, how do you create a revenue frenzy or sales frenzy in your organization? Quite honestly, it starts with that first touch. Now, if you are ever so bold and you want to test your first touch, then put your website in the chat and I'll go take a look at it because your first touch is what people see first. It's not when you first reach someone, it's when someone first reaches you. And where do people generally reach you? Social media, right? Going to start there. So they're going to check out your LinkedIn page. They're checking out your Facebook page. They're checking out your Twitter feed. They're checking you out on Instagram, right? If you're lucky, they're checking out your website. So there's your first touch. But here's the most important portion of that first touch. It is what is at the top of your screen. It is the very first thing right at the top. And I see, Alicia, I'm going to check out your website in a second. So that thing that's right at the top is what people see first. And the very first few words right at the top of your screen should be your value proposition. Your value proposition has nothing to do with you. I hear people all the time. I was just talking to someone the other day, somebody that I coach, and he was talking about what type of coach he is. He's like, I am a lifestyle coach. I don't know about y'all, but when I heard that, I was like, I don't know what that is. What is a lifestyle coach? Like, you going to tell me how to match my purse to my belt? Like, what is that? Or is that a fashion coach? Or are you going to tell me how to get on a cruise? Oh, wait, maybe that's a travel coach. I didn't know what a lifestyle coach was. I still don't know what a lifestyle coach was. But here's what really matters nobody really gives a damn what kind of coach you are. What kind of coach you are, what superhero name you give yourself is your business. I can say I'm a revenue acceleration coach. Okay, I accelerate revenue, but for whom? So that doesn't really matter. So people work a lot to put their superhero name together. What you really want to have at the top of your screen is your value proposition. It says the value that you give to people. Something like, I work with my clients to go from X to Y, from A to B. I help my clients to achieve X, Y, and Z. That's what should be right at the top of your screen. And sometimes you could put it in the form of a question like, if you want X, Y, and Z, then do something. So you can put it in the form of a call to action. You can put your value proposition right at the top of your screen. You can put that in the form of a question stating a problem that you're going to solve. But that is your very first touch. And when people tell me that they're struggling in sales, the very first thing I look at is what their first touch looks like. So you really want to know what your first touch looks like to your clients. And does it mean something to your clients or does it only mean something to you? So I'm going to go right now and I'm going to look at aliciathegoat.com. ALI.
Thank you.
And I'm only going to put in 3 W's, by the way. I put in www, which did not take me there. Okay. So Alicia, first of all, your website is badass. Let me just go ahead and say that. Your website is badass. What I would love to see at the top of your at the top of your screen is, yes, you have your superhero name, which is great. But what I'm missing is the financial goat. What does that do for me as an expert? You see what I'm saying? What does that do for me as one of your clients?
Totally. Yep.
Right? First of all, listen, if y'all get a chance to go to her website, your website is boss as hell. I love it. I love it. So I just need your value proposition right there at the top because I see you do great stuff. Can you repeat to me what you said that you did do right at the top of the when we first started talking?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I could add that right there. So my goal is
Mm-hmm.
debunking the myths associated with getting into the lending industry, as well as
Mm.
accessing capital.
So who do you specific? Is there a
So
particular ideal client that you help?
So I have do to have several trainings. So like the GOAT is my master page. But if you were my avatar, right,
Mm-hmm.
using the
Yeah.
matrix, you would
Yeah.
probably only see one of my trainings.
Got you.
And then if you were an investor, you would probably see the play. If you're a realtor, you would see the $1 million machine. If
Got you.
you so the GOAT is kind of everything. And when people book me for speaking and coaching, they see it all there. But my
Right.
client base, each one does have its own avatar.
Right. So I'll use mine for example, right? I help in it whether it's I help my clients turn their expertise into, and I can say a high profit business, that's one. But the other thing that I say quite often is I help my clients shatter their revenue ceiling. What so works about that is that works whether I'm working with people who are coaches or whether I'm working with people in sales because it's a general enough statement of I help my clients shatter their revenue ceiling. So it kind of goes across the board. It's not obviously as specific, so I would go into I help experts shatter their revenue ceiling. Does that make
Yep, that
sense?
makes sense. I may use that identically, coin
Yeah,
it.
you need just like a one line statement right there because now I know who you are, but I don't know what you do. So I like your superhero name. I just need something to go with it. That's all.
Thank you.
And I love, love, love that you came up. Thank you so much, honey. I appreciate that more than you can imagine. The other person I'm going to look at is carrieheron.com leap. And Carrie, if you want to come up to the stage, you can. Com
She's
slash
already up
leap.
on stage, Donna.
Oh, she is? Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm over in the chat. I'm hanging out somewhere else. Hey, Carrie, how are you?
Hey, Carrie, if you're speaking, you just got to click that microphone icon in the bottom right hand corner to unmute.
It's been a while since I've been on Clubhouse, can you tell? Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. So I see here that you increase impact and create a recession proof income, but how? I know you do something for the digital age. Do you help people create digital courses?
Right, I help people to transition from brick and mortar, a
Uh huh.
business of practice, into being able to sell products, services, digital
You
products.
okay? That's what you need to put on here. I help you increase products by transitioning from brick and mortar to the digital age.
Right,
That's what you're missing because I wasn't sure exactly what you did. Right?
right.
So I saw a leap into the transition and I'm like, are these people that are leaving their jobs? Right. So I would put very clearly, I help businesses reduce the financial impact of business of brick and mortar by producing or creating more digital based products online or something like that.
Right, thank you.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah. So but I like your website. Here's my
That's not
challenge
my
for you. I
page, my website actually is much more of a PR site with other things as well. So that's why I put this one here because it actually had more of a value proposition. But I do get your
right.
point about making it a bit more fine tuned in terms of direct.
Yep,
Um,
yep. And I by the way, you have an amazing smile. I
Thank you.
would make sure that your picture and that top half is as big as the rest of the site and
It
not
is
just in the center.
on the URL at the homepage is carrieheron.com, and it's huge.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I would love to see that on your Leap page. Yeah. What you have on that page is amazing. Your Carrie Huron page is absolutely stunning. I would do something similar on the Leap page.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely excellent. Excellent.
Because the days of
And
it
then
ending. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead. No, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll ask afterwards. Sorry.
I was going to say the one thing that I would challenge you to do, and this is for everyone here, because this is the first touch. This is what we're talking about, first touch, right? So here's the thing with first touch. Like Mariella Gums gave you this amazing testimonial. The problem is that no one's going to read the whole thing. So what you
Right.
want to do is what movie theaters and other, of those big areas do is they use just the parts that matter, right? So they'll put like stupendous in quotes, amazing in quotes, just a couple of words or a few words. You could literally just take a few words out of this whole quote and maybe 5 to 7 up to 10 words, and then use that so people can use it. Reduce the amount of content in regards to words that you have on there, and use more title type things so people can see it better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that way people actually read what you have here. Otherwise, if you put too much content, they just won't read it.
Gotcha.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming up, Carrie. Let's see.
Thank you.
I saw somebody else. All right, cool. So did you have another question for me? You said you had another question and you were gonna wait for me to go.
I was saying that I have different pages for different demographics for different products that I'm selling as well. So the
Yep.
Leap is specific course, whereas I have one for my membership as well as, and even that is also stratified into different persons I'm targeting for the membership and so on.
Yep. So, and we're going to talk about that next. So, thanks for telling me that. So, that's the next thing we're going to talk about. One of the challenges that entrepreneurs do run into. So, first thing is first touch. So, Carrie, you can go ahead and mute, hun. So, the first thing is first touch. You want to make sure that you have a first touch that includes a value proposition or a positioning statement where you're including your ideal client, or a unique selling proposition where you're including your methodology. Those three things are so important for your for your first touch to really work. And that first touch should be the same, if not very similar, across all of your platforms. So if I go to your website and I go to your LinkedIn and I go to your Twitter account and I go to your Instagram and I go to Facebook, it should all basically have the same exact thing. This is where people seriously start to make a mistake. Now, I'm not talking about Alicia, because Alicia has achieved a seven-figure business. But what I generally find is that people who are still in the areas where they're trying to even get to a six-figure year is that they have all these things that they do, and they are targeted towards so many different ideal clients. If you are really going to be good at what you do, you have to target who your ideal client is. Now, here's one disclaimer I will give you. You can have a corporate ideal client and you can have a entrepreneurial ideal client when first starting. However, you have to have the resources to market to both. If you do not have the resources to market to both, then you need to choose one, and whatever you get from the other strictly happens organically. So let me explain. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he was like, well, Dawnna, I do a lot of coaching within corporate, where I help people who are underdog leaders become high performance leaders with high performance teams. Okay, great. Then he said, but I also do, and this is the lifestyle coaching guy, lifestyle coaching with men who are going through divorce. And I'm like, which one of those are paying you? And he said, well, the corporate one. And I said, then that's your bread and butter, and that's where you need to pay the most attention. That's where you want to put your money right now. And you want to put your money there until you are at the point, and people always go, well, for how long? Until when? Until you can forecast 6 months ahead of you. You want to stay focused on that one area, because this is what happens when you start getting, I kind of call it side hustling. When you start getting into this side hustling thing where, ooh, and I can make money over here, and ooh, I can make money over there, and ooh, I can make money over there, then what generally happens is you stop focusing on the one area that you really need to focus on, which is the business that's going to make you the money. It's the same thing that we say when you get on a plane, right? Don't get on a plane and when it's going down, be like, oh, I got to put mask on everybody else before I put it on myself. No, you got to put your mask on yourself. You have to focus in this one area first. Then you can start looking at other places, but only after you're stable. That's what you need to do for your business. So that is the second thing I would tell you to do. Did somebody want to say something?
I just want to second that I did not start out with all these businesses at once. So for people in the room, this is 17 years. You have to create that stability, as Dawn said,
Yes.
first.
Yes, and thank you so much for that, Alicia. And it's so funny because, and I'm sure you've seen this, people come out and then they'll say, oh, but Alicia, when she was on Clubhouse, I saw her and she had this ideal client over here, and she had that ideal client over there, and she had that one over there. And then Dawnna had an ideal client that was corporate and an ideal client that was entrepreneurial. And then Jared, no, stop. We have taken the time to build that up. So the first thing you want to do is get, how do I get this first group that I'm focused on? How do I get this first group of business to 6, 7 figures? And how can I forecast consistently 6 months out? Then, and in a positive way, then how do I expand? But don't expand before you know exactly who you are targeting, and that you can actually get that 6 figure, that you can actually get that 6 months of going, yep, I'm focusing on this 6 months and I can forecast on that 6 months. You have to get there first. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone when you start thinking about your ideal client, because that's going to be a game changer for you in regards to ensuring that you're putting all your eggs. And I know people say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Put all your eggs in that basket. Trust me, the eggs ain't gonna break. Put all your eggs in that basket. Go full steam ahead in that one direction. And if you're going, well, I don't know if that's going to work, then you need to have a coach to help you figure out if. So the purpose and point of having a coach, by the way, is it's somebody who's been there, done that. They got the ugly T-shirt. They've made all the mistakes. They know what doesn't work. They know what works, and they have a good insight to business as well as your business. That's why you want to coach, because they're going to shorten the timeline, and they're going to tell you how to overstep and miss some of those potholes. That's the biggest benefit of having a coach. All right, let's go on to the next one. You want to treat your business, by the way, when you are selecting this ideal client, treat your business like a private club and not like a public park. Stop letting everybody come in and piss on your tree. Start choosing your clients and not let your client choose you, because there is nothing worse than when you're sitting there, and I know everybody's been here. Dawnna, I'm trying to choose my client, but this person has the full fee. They're going to pay me full fee up front right now. How do I say no to that? Oh, you could say yes to that. That is going to be the worst 3 to 6 months of your life. And the worst part is when they get to the end and then they go and dispute their credit card charges and want their money back. So now you did all that work for nothing. And I have been in that situation where I have taken on a client that cost me time and then turned around and disputed the charges and got their money back, even though I did the work. Right. So you want to make sure that you don't get in that situation. Go ahead, Alicia. What's up?
I'm over here like,
She like, girl, I've been
I've
there and
been
done
there
that.
and
Got a
I'm there. Oh
t-shirt.
my gosh, I've been there. And I'm looking here with one of my colleagues, and I'm like, she's just starting her program, and I'm like, this is why you need a coach. So we're actually listening in the background as we get some work done, and I'm letting her know this is why I've been down this road. I know business names make a difference when you're getting your processing systems. I noticed on your page you use Kartra. I use Kartra too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a way to show that they logged in to class every
Yes.
day.
Yes, yes, yes. You need those stupid Zoom recordings. You need to get on your damn nerves. It's taking up your space. You need those emails. You need that stuff because and the thing is, you need that stuff. Let me tell you when you really need that stuff. You really need that stuff when you keep taking on clients that you know aren't a good fit, because those are the clients that's gonna bite you. You need it anyway, but when you have a client that is not a good fit, they're gonna bite you extra, and it is really going to hurt. So you want to make sure that you have these things in place. One of the things that I'm very proud of that we do at Fyrebrand is we have all of this stuff set up for our clients. So basically, when they walk in, we're like, we're going to get your value proposition, your methodology, all that stuff set up for you. Make sure you're ready to go. And by the way, I'm going to talk just a little bit about methodology, mainly because Alicia's on here, and I know she's gonna know what I'm talking about as soon as I say it. But you got to make sure you have your methodology set up. You got to have your value proposition set up. You got to know who the hell you work with, and that you're working within your zone of genius, your area of expertise. You got to make sure you know who your ideal client is that wants your area of expertise. And then, of course, you have to make sure that you have your product well defined, that your first offering, and there is a difference between your core offering and your lead magnet. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let me back up
I was gonna
and talk.
say they need to share this room. There's 27 people in this room. I need you guys to make sure you're hitting that greenhouse at the top. I also need you to make sure you are sharing this room. The information that she is giving, I'm going to be very transparent. I spend on my business consultant. It costs me $5,000 a month.
Yep.
Okay. And that's just one of them. That's not. So I need you to understand the information she is giving you on this platform, complimentary, because I refuse to call it free. Okay. There's a lot of skill set and information. And when you ask the questions off app, it's going to cost you. So you want to be able to maximize your time and build from this information that she is offering complimentary so that you can have a call that's full of execution later.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And don't go anywhere, Alicia, because check this out. Because I know you have one. Because I was just looking at your website, right? Y'all, your money, your millions of dollars is in your methodology. It is in your step by step approach and your ability to take your client from where they are to where they want to be. You have it, and if you don't have it documented somewhere, then it makes it really difficult to put together that online class. That's why I know Alicia got one. Like, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know Alicia got methodologies. You need to have your methodology. Your methodology is what you write your book about. Your methodology is what you write your classes about. Your methodology is what you're going to create your ebook on. Your methodology is your step-by-step process that you follow, that every time a client comes in the door, you start them with step one, they do da 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 da, go through the little discovery, and then step two, and then they do step two, and then step three, and they do step three. And by the way, once you get really good, you'll find that you probably have multiple methodologies. How many you got, Alicia? I know you got some.
Yeah, we definitely do. We just had a training on them because of the market shift. Right there, we
Hmm.
had to do a pivot as of Wednesday in our business. We have been preparing for it to happen, but we saw it hit when mortgage rates went over 5%. We knew the moment that happened, we were going to have to lay off, and we were going to have to lengthen our methodologies because it was going to take a warmer sale to sell our products that we offer, where
Hmm.
they needed to know us a little bit better. Where before, this is what you wanted to know, we had about a 3-step close. Um, and
Yep.
now we're at a 5-step close.
Yep. Right. So that's her sales methodology. But when I look at your stuff, I know you have a methodology for all the things that you do. And that's what y'all need. It's not just the sales part. You want to have a sales methodology. You want to have your expertise methodology. When I'm sitting here looking at her stuff, she has, Ms. Cooper Home Loans, Goat Funding Solutions, Goat Financial Services, Biz Fund Academy. I know Biz Fund Academy has a methodology. Million Dollar Machine, I know that has a methodology.
Biz Fund Academy, you said that, and that's the $1 million machine right there. That's the one that
Yep.
has the most of them.
Yep, yep. And here's why having a methodology is so important. And the thing is, I am a certified PMP as well as a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. That might not mean a lot to a lot of people on here, but I'll tell you what it does mean to you. That means that I can sit with you and talk to you and help pull out your methodology and help you document it. Because that, by the way, is your very first book. People always say, well, Dawnna, how do I pay for your services? Well, I'm gonna help you write your first book because I'm gonna show you exactly how to pull that out of your methodology. I'm gonna help you come up with every social media post that you ever needed because it's in your methodology. Your methodology has everything that you possibly need. So when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I don't have one, you do. You probably just haven't sat down and put a structure around it. And that's one of the first things that you want to do if you're talking about being a coach. That's one of the first things that we work with people on. How to pull out your methodology, because that's where your millions upon millions of dollars is. If anybody's been in this room before, they know I always start the same way. They're like, she always starts with her expertise and then she goes to ideal client. Why? Because I am literally working through a methodology. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is your product and services. And by the way, if you have questions, if you want to come up on the stage, if you want to get live coaching, all you got to do is raise your hand and come up. I will be more than happy to do live coaching with you. You can give me your website. You can ask me any questions you want. If it's about your business, even if it's about your pricing, if it's about your ideal client, if it's about your value proposition, your marketing, your client engagement, and then your sales, I'm all for you. Now, if you're going to come up here and say, well, Dawnna, what CRM should I use? I just tell you one I use because I'm not doing your systems. I'm specifically talking about how to turn your expertise into money. So the next reason that people struggle in sales and why they have such a bad time in sales is because of pricing. And here's my question for you. Right now, I want you to put in the chat, because I know we're super low. Other than Carrie and Miss Cooper, we're super low on participation. But I'm gonna see if these 25 people are gonna be willing to play along with me. So let's find out. I want you to imagine right now. I want you to go into the chat. Don't imagine. Go into the chat. I want you to write down two numbers. What is the average number, the average price of a coach in your industry that does what you do? That's the first number. And the second number is your price. So I want you to put the average price of the first number is the average price. So you can say average equals and then type in that number. And then what's your number? Is your number lower than theirs, equal to theirs, higher than theirs? Just go ahead and give that a shot. I'm going to check comments, see if anybody writes it in chat. Y'all must be really far from your screen, from your chat. The reason this is important is because when it comes down to pricing, if there is one area that I watch people lose sales to and don't create a sales frenzy, is because they have no idea how to price their services. And they don't even know that there's actually a formula that we use to help you price your services. You need to have amazing pricing in order to make this happen. Okay, so nobody's typing anything in chat. I'm going to tell y'all how you handle this. You want to price yourself to be better. Not to be equal, not to be less than, to be better. And what do I mean by that? A pair of $1,500 Christian Louboutin shoes is better than a pair of $500 Michael Kors shoes. You might not believe that, you might not think that, you might not know that, but the Christian Louboutin dollars on their profit line is much higher than Michael Kors. Why? Because everyone believes that. People believe that the $80,000 car is better than the $20,000 car. People believe that the $250,000 house is better than the $100,000 house. So if you price yourself, if the average coach prices themselves at $1,500 a month and you price yourself at $1,000 a month, I don't think you're better. I don't think you're better. And it's funny because one of the things that Alicia said earlier was she said, when I first started, I had a dollar amount that was lower because I said that my client couldn't afford it. And I think she said that she didn't believe that she could, like they would pay that. Like they're not going to pay that. That's too high. This is their rent payment, right? Well, that says two things. Either A, she doesn't believe in herself, or B, she doesn't believe in her product. But she found that when she raised her rates, her clients paid it. You really need to, if you're telling me that you're struggling with your dollar amount that you're charging people, it's either A, you don't believe in yourself and your product, or B, you don't believe in your client. And if you have a broken belief system, you're in trouble. Go ahead, Alicia.
I was just going to reiterate what I said earlier. If your heart can't cover it, and I still struggle with that. That's why mindset
Mm-hmm.
coach are so important as well, just to speak to that. Because
Mm-hmm.
I can sell my other items all day, every day. And I know the return for the client, meaning shattering their revenue goals, definitely
Mm-hmm.
coining that, um,
Mm-hmm.
it is going to be much higher with the high ticket product. I mean, I've seen individuals turn into millionaires, make six figures, but I still personally struggle because of my traumas of being a single mom and living in the
Mm-hmm.
projects. So I constantly have to be reminded and motivated to not put my limiting beliefs on my clients and know that I'm an answer and a solution to their problems. So I think I'm happy to be in this
Yes.
room, but I just want everybody to know that you definitely need to price yourself accordingly, and that can be very difficult. So I'm here to validate your emotion, but I want to let you know that you can do it with the right coaches and assistants.
That is so true. Oh my God, Alicia, you know what? It's so funny. I was just talking to my mindset coach the other day because I moved like 2 weeks ago. That's why I've been fighting with this internet. So I moved like 2 weeks ago, and I moved into a much bigger place than where I was, right? So I was in like 3 bedrooms before, and now I'm in like 6 bedrooms, and so double the size, bigger yard, all this other stuff. And I make really good money. And I don't know if this happens to you, but I had that whole moment of, but what if I can't afford, and then I just went through this whole thing like, what if I can't afford the rent? What if I can't make the payment every month? What if I went through this whole what if thing. Y'all, I make 7 figures a year, and I am literally like, I'm sitting there having that moment. And I run into that same moment even when my coach, my chief marketing officer, was challenging me on putting a price on something. And I was like, my clients will never, that they are not going to pay that. That is not going to happen. It will never happen. And then he goes, yeah, it will. And he was absolutely right. We did $160,000 worth of sales in like 15 minutes, right? Because you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, and people will say, "Oh, well, in that case, you believed in that moment that you could definitely sell it for that." No, I didn't. But I don't need you to be fearless. I need you to be courageous. I need you to take action even when you are scared shitless. I need you to be like, you know what? I don't even know. I need you to have that moment and say, people always talk about stepping out on faith. And they'll say that 1,000 times, I'm going to step out on faith until they got to reach in their pocket. Then all of a sudden, faith is gone because they can't find that ROI. You're not supposed to be looking for it. You're supposed to let us look for it. That's our job. That's what coaches do. So when it comes down to your expertise, so I'm going to back up and go forward again for you. So when it comes down to your expertise, the one thing that you want to do is you want to put more commas in your bank account by taking the commas out of your expertise. Like Alicia's very clear. She's very clear on the one thing she does. She goes, I'm a financial go. If you want to talk about money, I could talk to you about money all day. You want to talk about making money, investing money, doing something with money, I could talk to you about money. You want to talk about your systems or whatever, I'm gonna talk to you about money. Like she's very clear on her website what she's gonna talk about. For me, you want to talk about how to turn your expertise into money, how to get past those roadblocks, how to build that. That's me all day, twice on Sunday. When you start talking about you want to put in your systems, I'm like, there's somebody I know that does that, right? But you have to be clear on the one thing you can do. So take the commas out of your expertise and put them in your bank account. I should not go to your LinkedIn profile and see 10 different commas behind your name. Because if I see all those commas, then I'm like, well, you're not really good at anything. You a jack of all trades, but you ain't really focused on anything. And that's one of the things you want to do. You want to make sure that you really have identified your area of expertise. And I'll tell you right now, I challenge you to go to LinkedIn, and I challenge you just to click on just one of the people in there and look at what their area of expertise is. And you're going to see that most of those people have tons and tons and tons of things behind their commas, behind their behind their name. And because they have all those commas behind their name, you don't really know what they do. I'm looking at a woman right now, and she's a personal power coach. She's a brander. She's a marketer. She's a live stream person. She does a little PR on the side. Like, what do you hire her for? What do you hire her for? Seriously, what are you hiring her for? She has too many commas behind her name, so you won't hire her for anything because you don't know exactly what she does. So you want to make sure that you're clear. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure, and I'm gonna use another one because I like to go to LinkedIn and I can tell you how many of these people do this wrong. So check this out. Using my voice and gift of connection to empower tribes of boss women to get out of their heads and into action. That is someone's value proposition. What does that mean? What does that mean? What is she doing for me? I use my voice and gift of connection to empower tribes of boss women to get out of their heads and into action. Doesn't mean anything to me. Probably doesn't mean anything to you. And she's an entrepreneur. I can tell you right now, I go to most of these and I can look at people's names, look at people's LinkedIn, and I can tell you exactly how much money they're not making. Mainly because their information is just all over the place. You want to be specific about what you do. When I go and look at somebody's name, it says governor at the office of the governor of the state of Texas. I know who the governor of the state of Texas is, and he has one job, and that's all he does. But when I look at entrepreneurs, we tend to put 10 things behind our names. Here's somebody, she's a business coach, a mentor, a professional speaker, a brander, a marketer. No, you have to pick. Then going to your ideal client, treat your business like a private club, not like a public park. Start making sure that you are validating the people that walk in. Don't let anybody walk in. Pick the people that should walk in. And then number 3, price your product so that you are better. Make sure that you're pricing yourself to be better and not pricing yourself to be average. And if you're having a problem with pricing, you need to talk to me. You need to talk to a coach. You need a mindset coach because what I need you to be is courageous. I don't care if you're fearless. I need you to be courageous. Because if you cannot price your product, what you're telling me is either you don't believe in your product or you don't believe in yourself. Hey, Brandon, I see you came up. What question do you have?
I do not have a question right now. I'm enjoying the conversation, enjoying
All
what
right,
you're
awesome.
sharing.
Yeah, Donna, I
Awesome.
brought up Brandon because he's somebody that's super fearless and courageous, and also is a business coach. But Brandon, meet Donna. She's dropping gems. So yeah, as she goes through the information, if you have a question or if you want to share your value prop or what things have worked for you, feel free. But Donna, you got it.
Absolutely. All right. And now I'm going to go on to, so those 3 areas that I just talked about are the focus of your business, your expertise, your ideal client, and your products and how you price your products. The next thing you have to look at once you're done with your focus phase of your business is now you want to look at the money making phase of your business because you haven't started making money yet. You've just done the things to make sure you make money, right? I have a value proposition that people know exactly what I do. I've really identified my ideal client. So that way, when I say, hey, I'm talking to people who are coaches or who are experts that want to be coaches, that when I say that they go, oh, she's talking to me. If your ideal client goes to your website and they don't know that you're talking to them, then you're not talking to them. There has to be a visceral reaction. Oh, they're talking to me. They have to feel that when they go there. There was a gentleman on named Corey day before yesterday, and he said he works with tax professionals who want to increase their business. And so he helps tax professionals grow their business using the PH2 method. So he has a specific method that he uses to help tax professionals grow his business. If you weren't a tax professional, he was not talking to you. If you weren't a tax professional that owned your own business, he was not talking to you. He was very specific about who he was talking to you. Do your ideal clients know that you're talking to them? And so now I want to take you over to the money making part. This is the other reason, the fourth reason why people will struggle with making money in their business, why they have a hard time sparking that 7 figures is this. When it comes down to marketing, that's all a lot of people are doing. They're like, Dawnna, I'm doing 42 posts per week on social media. Congratulations. Marketing is a great way of saying, look at me. What you really need is market attraction. How do I attract my ideal client to me? And how do I attract my ideal client to take action? I don't care if 1,000,000 people know me. I care that the 10,000 buyers that are going to buy from me know me. It's one thing that Jared and I always talk about, and Jared can definitely co-sign this. I'm like, I don't care if there's 600, 500, or 50 people or 20 people in the room. What I care is that it's the right people in the room. So where a lot of people are like, Jared, I need you to give me 800 people. I'm like, I just need coaches, people who are actual coaches. So the one thing you want to do is you want your ideal client to have a visceral reaction of when you're talking to them. If I go to your website right now and I look at your website and your website does not say anything about you being who you're talking to, like specifically who you're talking to, then you're not targeting anyone, because you don't just want to reach a target market in marketing. You want to reach a target rich environment. In other words, an environment where there are multitudes of your ideal client. That's really what you're looking for. If you cannot reach a target rich environment, then it's like trying to shoot a goldfish in the ocean. So you want to make sure that you are really going and getting your target market in a target rich environment. That is a nice way of saying, I really want to make sure that I'm reaching a bunch of people that are all clamored in the same area. That is the number one way to reduce the cost of your marketing and increase the number of people that you're getting. So you want to do that, not just marketing, because marketing is a nice way of saying, look at me. Can everybody see me? That's great. But then market attraction is saying, I know everybody can see me, but I really only want those people over there in that corner, the ones that have the money that can afford my services, who actually can talk to me. I want those people. I want them to actually work with me. The other day I had someone who we were talking about who she was marketing to. And she said, oh, well, I work with women, minority women, who are between the ages of 35 and 50, who have at least $10,000 of extra income. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm 52 and I have $250,000 of extra income, you're not interested in me then, right? Even though she's a financial services person. And she's like, no, I'm interested in you. I said, but not in the way that you just described your ideal client. There is a way to describe your ideal client to your marketing person who's putting your Facebook ads together versus the way that you speak to your actual audience. The way that I speak to my chief marketing officer, Ruben, who's here in the audience, the way I speak to Ruben is like this. There's a certain demographic. Oh, it's mainly women, or it's mainly men, or it's mainly minorities, or it's mainly this. Like, we have all those check boxes that he needs for Facebook and LinkedIn ads, right? He needs those check boxes for Instagram ads. But when I'm talking out of my mouth to my ideal client, I say this: I work with people who are subject matter experts. In other words, they know their stuff and they want to turn their expertise into a high profit coaching business. And the challenge they're running into is there is so much free stuff out there, and they're trying to cobble together their business based on some Franken business kind of, they're making a Franken business instead of a Frankenstein. And they're just trying to cobble it together and it's not working. You can't build your business on a bunch of free stuff. You really can't. Do you really think these experts took all of their amazing content and they put it out there for free? No, of course they didn't. They put just enough out there. And so you want to make sure that when you're speaking to your ideal client, that you're speaking to them in a way that they know you're talking to them. If you're not speaking to your ideal client in that way, then your ideal client will be like, I don't know if they're talking to me. Or you might be making the mistake of disqualifying someone who could be very well your ideal client. So I want you to think about that when you're talking about your ideal client, when you're doing your marketing. When you open up, make sure you're disqualifying the people that you don't want to be there. I tell people straight up, if you have never coached anyone and you don't have any idea of your expertise and you can't put $2 together, I'm probably not the coach for you. I probably have a program for you, but I'm probably not your coach. Right? And so we're really clear about that. Now, the one thing I will tell you that we do that's a little different is we are really big on putting together programs that are specific to our ideal client without doing a bunch of pitching at them. Because I can't stand that. I don't know about y'all, but I've gone to conferences where I'm sitting there in the front row. I got my notepads out. I got my 20 pens because I know I'm going to be writing all day. I'm taking all the notes in the world. I'm trying to implement things while I'm there. And what happens? They bring out one speaker after another speaker after another speaker after another speaker, and all those speakers do is sell to me. They just made me waste 8 hours listening to people give away these tiny nuggets and sell to me. It absolutely annoys the shit out of me. I hate it. That's why when I put together my own boot camp or when I put together my own master classes, we do things very differently. We don't spend the whole day pitching to you at all. We don't have to. We spend the whole day. What we do is first we teach you something. Then right there after we teach it to you, we have you do it. Not take notes to take home with you. We actually have you do what we just taught you. Then once you've done it, then we turn around and say, okay, let's validate it and make sure it's right. Then once we're like, okay, that's right, we'll tell you, you can go ahead and post that or implement that or use that. And then we build on top of it. And we keep doing that over and over and over again. And we do that in our boot camps. Right now, we have a masterclass called Coaching for Coaches. Now it's coming up on April 7th. Is that right? April 11th at 7 p.m. So it's coming up on April 11th at 7 p.m. It is one of the things that we do for complimentary other than Clubhouse. I don't do things complimentary, and I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason it's complimentary is because my chief marketing officer, I love you, Ruben, my chief marketing officer actually put it out there before he put a price tag on it because there was supposed to be a price tag on it. So this is one of the few times that we're doing a masterclass that doesn't cost anything. We had people register before we put a price tag on it, and that's the only reason it's complimentary. So on Monday evening from 7 to about 8:30, we're Eastern time, we're doing a complimentary Coaching for Coaching masterclass. It's right there at the top. You can go ahead and click on it and you can get into that masterclass if you want to, because it's complimentary. And again, other than Clubhouse, we don't do things that are complimentary unless we make a mistake, like not putting a price on it ahead of time. So feel free. This is your opportunity. I'm telling you, it will not happen again. Now, let's go ahead and jump into, we've talked about your expertise, your ideal client, your product. Here's number 7, the number 5, the 5th reason. We talked about your marketing. The 5th reason that people really struggle to create a real spark in their business and really spark that money is because they have a funnel that doesn't work. They have too many free things in their funnel. And so what they're doing is they're getting people who are just investing in free and not trying to get a true return on investment. And what do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, you have an ebook. Here's a very specific thing you can do. Let's say you have an ebook. If you take that ebook, I see Ruben wrote oops in there. I know, in the chat. If you have an ebook, most people will just have the ebook and they'll give away the ebook with a workbook component away for free. I would challenge you to change that. Take your ebook and separate it from a workbook. Then do an upsell to the workbook. And let's say you do an upsell to the workbook for, I don't know, $29. Then do an upsell from the workbook to a video, and a video of showing people how to actually fill that in. And then do an offer of them getting on the phone with you to review what they did in their workbook session. Don't just give out an ebook if you have a workbook to go with it. Give out an ebook with a workbook to create recurring revenue in your business that you can leverage towards better marketing. People are always worried about how to spend marketing dollars or get marketing dollars. You're supposed to get marketing dollars from your lead magnets. A lot of people are doing lead magnets that are absolutely free. Your lead, we only have, well, I was going to say one lead magnet that's free, but now we have two. How do you determine something is a lead magnet versus something that's not a lead magnet? Your core offering should be basically singular. So my core offering is coaching, period, the end. Anything else that I do that is not in my 6-month coaching program is a lead magnet. Clubhouse is a lead magnet. A masterclass is a lead magnet. A boot camp is a lead magnet. A coaching call is a lead magnet. An ebook is a lead magnet. Those things are all paid, but they're all lead magnets. So you want to make sure that you understand that a lead magnet is anything that you're doing that is outside of your primary coaching offering. Your primary coaching offering is generally that thing at the top of the thing that costs the most within your offering. You can have add-ons to that. Now, that might be giving you earned income based on how you set up your business. Earned income is basically the one-time payment or the one-time dollar amount that you're getting. People think that getting coaching dollars on a monthly basis is recurring revenue. That's not what we're talking about. Recurring revenue, when we're really talking about recurring revenue, it is money that you are making that you don't have to actually put hours in for. For example, I might have recurring revenue from someone who's buying lead magnets. I might have recurring revenue from our private membership group, right? I might have recurring revenue from other areas that don't necessarily involve me. These are things that make money while I sleep. You need to be able to create the kind of lead magnets that actually cause that to happen. That's what you're looking for. Those are things that we help you set up at Fyrebrand. We help you identify your area of expertise, your methodology, your value proposition. We help you identify your ideal client and exactly how you qualify and disqualify people and how you name them and where you find them and where those target rich environments are. We then help you identify not only what your core offering is, but how we segment that core offering into several different ways so that you can maximize the amount of money that you're making on a regular basis while still serving your clients at the highest levels. Then from there, we take a look at your marketing and we help you with every single solitary marketing message that goes out there, all of them. Then from your marketing messages, we go on to the next level and we help you set up your funnels. So now we're looking at your funnels and we're saying, how do you actually get people involved in your organization, get on your calendar without you having to call them to get them on your calendar, and how you actually entice them to want to work with you? That's all the things that we put together. And then we go on to the next part where we actually help you create a sales frenzy within your organization. And that's the number 6 item. When people are telling me that they don't do a good job sparking money in their business, it's generally because they believe that their expertise will sell itself. I don't know who told people that. I don't know who started that lie, but I'm going to tell you right now, that is a lie. If you work with a coach who tells you that your marketing and your product is so good that you never, ever, ever have to actually learn anything about sales, you are absolutely out of your mind. I hear people tell me all the time that they're going to write a book And when they write a book, they're going to become a best-selling author. And I said, what's going to make you a best-selling author? They're like, well, I'm going to write a big, really good book. And I said, I want you to notice that it is a best-selling author and not a best writing author. The operative word there is selling. You can write a great book, but if you can't sell it, nobody actually gives a damn. You have to know sales like nobody's business. And if you cannot sell in this business, in any business, you will be broke. And if you're sitting here going, well, Dawnna, I don't really like to sell and marketing should do sales for me. Marketing does not do sales for you. That's not what it does. And the amount of money that you'd have to spend on marketing to make that happen is ridiculous. I had somebody tell me the other day, and I lost my mind during a call with Doug. We do sales calls online, and this gentleman said, well, I can make a video class and I can put that online. And I'm like, yeah, so can everybody else that has an iPhone. But who's paying for this? You have to market that for it to happen. And he goes, people make millions on Udemy. I go, there are millions of people on Udemy that aren't making $2. What are you talking about? People think it's just so easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video and I'm going to put it online and people are going to pay me millions for it. I'm like, there are literally trillions of videos on YouTube for free. Why is someone going to pay for yours? You have to really understand that in order to market to people, in order to make money from those videos, you really have to have your marketing on a level that is over the top and off the chain. And it takes millions of dollars to get to that point. Their marketing costs a lot of money. Just get one of those social media marketers who actually know what they're doing. Don't get one that's just good. Get one that knows what they're doing. They'll cost you more money than you could shake a stick at. Because they know, just like all of us know, that marketing doesn't actually do sales for you. Selling does sales for you. And when people are buying high ticket offers, they're not going to drop 10 grand on your program because you got a pretty website. You actually have to get on the phone and talk to people and show them your results and show them what you've done. And that doesn't even count having all the other things in the background. That's just you having a conversation with them. You got to have all your systems set up. You have to know exactly what you're doing. But you have to actually be able to sell. They have to know before they get off the phone and drop 10 grand on your program or 15 grand or 20 grand on your program, that at the end of the day, you are going to solve the problem they're running into. And from a sales perspective, this is where I see people completely hose things up. A client goes to your website and they think, wow, your website is absolutely amazing. I love your website. And then they get on the phone with you and they say, you know, I've looked at your website, I've looked at your social media, I know everything about you. Tell me about your program so I can get in it. The very first thing people do is they start telling the customer about their program so they can get in it. When is there another time ever in your business that you let a client direct you on what to do next? It is not your client's job to tell you what to do. And you should not start waterboarding your client with content in regards to what's awesome about your program. You haven't even found out if they even qualify to be having the conversation with you about your program. Let me give it to you a different way. I want you to imagine that you're a doctor and someone rolls in to your office. And as they're rolling into your office, they go, yeah, so what, I got this little pain in my elbow and I need some Vicodin and some Valium. So if you can hook me up with that Vicodin and Valium, that double V, that'll be straight. And you give them Vicodin and Valium because they said, tell me about Vicodin and Valium and then prescribe it. You would be out of a job. You would no longer be a doctor. In fact, you'd probably be in jail for malpractice. You have to treat your business when clients come to you as if you're a doctor. Somebody comes to me and they say, Dawnna, tell me about the Mansion Retreat program that you put on where you actually show coaches how to have a six-figure quarter using Mansion Retreats. Can you please share that with me? First thing I'm gonna say is, well, hold on. What's going on in your world that makes Mansion Retreats interesting for you and your clients? What kind of clients do you have that you think would be qualified for that? How much are you currently charging for your program? Does your program fit in a mansion retreat program? What are you currently doing and how are you offering that? What struggles are you currently having in selling your current product before you go and sell a mansion retreat product? And if you stay exactly where you are today, what do things look like 6 months from now? I am not telling a person about a mansion retreat program until I even know that they're qualified for a mansion retreat program. They might need a program that's before that. Maybe they're not ready for that. Maybe that program, maybe a mansion retreat program, delivers something else other than what they think it is. It's your job first to completely qualify or disqualify your client before you allow your client just to walk in and start asking questions and dictating what they're going to buy. They just walked in your business and told you what they're going to do. You can't allow that to happen. Hey, Abdul, how are you? Do you have any questions?
Hey, what's up, Donna? I pulled him up as well. I'm just pulling up people that I know have the
Okay.
right target audience for you. He's a high ticket coach if you look at his bio. But Abdul, anytime you have questions or if you want to riff with her, I think it would be valuable for the audience because I respect what both of you do. But Donna, man, she's a beast. So Abdul, stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just looking at your bio. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we do very similar, right? You're based in Dubai. One of the things that I was just talking about is, you want to make sure you're qualifying those clients to get in the room. Like not everybody is your ideal client. I'm sure you've run into that, Abdul, where you've had people call you and say, yeah, I need you to get me to that 6-figure month, but they haven't made, $5.
Yeah, sure. It's nice to be here. Hey, Jared. Hey, Donna. There are a lot of people that are thinking, oh, yeah, I want to make 6, 7 figures, but they forget that there are certain systems that needs to be in place for you to even get
Hmm.
to that. And I do agree with what you said. There's a difference between marketing and sales. Most people are so obsessed about getting sales, getting their marketing done, but they omit the sales aspect. And also, some people also think, yeah, I just need to get as much people into my stuff as possible. But you end up with, most people don't even talk about churn. That is the level of people that don't stay with you after they've invested into your offer. But then, like this, there are so many dynamics to it that one must understand is that, yeah, you shouldn't speak to everybody because when you seek to serve everybody, you end up serving nobody, right? So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I've once said this before is that selling and making as much money as you want with peace of mind is not really about knowing who you want to sell to, but who you don't want to sell to. Because when you clarify that in your messaging and you make sure your hooks, your entire targeting speaks to a specific pain point or like the point B that you're taking someone from point A, then you're able to repel people that don't really fit into your market and you're
That's
able
right.
to attract those that vibe with you. So it's like, I mean, it's like saying you want to contest for a political office because I believe like everything we do in life is really marketing and sales, whether you like it or not. If you're going for a political career, you can either be a Democrat or a Republican. So when you're a Republican, you are repelling everyone that is a Democrat. And when you're a Democrat, you're repelling everyone that is a Republican. So you really need to understand that it's not just who you want to sell to, it's who you don't want to sell to. When you get clear on who you don't want to sell to, you discover that you will be magnetic to those that you really want to sell to. So yeah, there's a lot of
Absolutely.
dynamics to it. So yeah, that's just my point of view.
And we call that, so in my business, when I teach my sales methodology, we call that the gauntlet of disqualification. We actually work with our clients to take them through a gauntlet of disqualification so that way we get people, only the people that we absolutely want to work with. And what happens so many times is that people are so excited to get anyone in the door that what they end up doing is taking in a bad client, and that bad client ends up hurting you more than helping you, especially if they go and dispute their credit card charges. Now you've done all of this stuff to get this client, and it turns out that that client is actually not doing any good for you at all. And so you really want to make sure that you're crystal, crystal, crystal clear of who your ideal client is and who they're not. And if you cannot sell, if you can't get on the phone and have a conversation that does not include waterboarding someone with content, then you've completely missed the opportunity. Sometimes people get on the phone and they're so hell bent on selling, just selling people, that they miss out on the opportunity of solving the problem for the person. And you really want to be able to solve the problem for your customers.
Yep. Uh, can I just chip something in real quick? Sorry
Yes.
to. All right. So, what most people forget when they are even creating content, which leads to views. I mean, you can get lots of views, you can get lots
Yep.
of shares, but are you really getting sales? And one thing that people must really understand is that your content should serve as a bridge between where someone is right now and where they want to be. And your offer is then what serves as the solution for them. So you want to constantly either create curiosity that makes someone now ask, right? Because it's easier for someone to be sold to or to be sold on your offer when you make them make the ask, not you saying, I want you to buy this. There's a difference between when I come to you versus when you come to me, right? That way you
Yes.
switch the frame of the conversation, right? And also there are certain contents that you create that makes people go, yes, this is really who I need to go to, because there is the market temperature, that is there is the temperature of people being from lukewarm, cold, not
Yep.
so like all of that. Your messaging must also focus on how do I make people understand this is the journey that they are at right now, because there are also people that are coming to your audience and they eventually will buy from you, but they are not at the point where they know are you the right person for them. So if you're able to create content that nurtures, that builds curiosity, that creates intrigue, and also makes people aware of, yes, this person really understands me, because people don't buy until they feel that you do understand what they are going through and you are the best person to buy from them. So as much as you can, create millions of content, I mean, there are people that have millions of followers and they are unable to generate a single sale. It went viral in 2020 if an influencer that has 3 million followers and couldn't sell 30 t-shirts. So it's really all about
Exactly.
understanding like the human psychology, understanding how you can make people want what you have, because as much as we have needs, we have unlimited wants, right? So how can you make sure that what you sell is what people do want and they also see it as a need? If you're able to bridge that gap, like, okay, I need this and I want this and I am willing to make the investment in it, because someone can want what you have, they might need it, but if they are unable to make the purchase or if they're unable to make the decision, then you're just wasting your time. So if you're able to make
Absolutely.
people really understand that, yes, this is what I'm about, and also make it clear. And that's why, like, I tell people, why hide the price of your offer? Because you're doing yourself a disservice. You're bringing them down the pipeline only to end up not buying from you, when you could display the price and make them know, hey, I don't serve this kind of audience. I don't belong to this kind of stuff. I am always saying, hey, I would help you sell your high ticket offer. You are also selling a high ticket offer, right? So
Right.
we come from a different perspective compared to someone that is always preaching low ticket, low ticket, low ticket, low ticket. So you need to consistently repel people that don't really fit into your audience, that don't understand the dynamics of what you're talking about. And they must understand that this is a process. You have to enjoy the process, right? You have to enjoy the journey, not really be obsessed about making $1 million when you don't even know how to consistently average $50,000 a month. Yeah, thanks.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what one of the things that you said that I think is so interesting is that we do get a lot of people who come in and they don't want to sell. They're scared of selling. They're scared of selling. And what they're really doing is they're scared that people are going to say no to them. Here's the thing. You have to switch the power dynamic so that you're the one making the decision on whether someone can actually work with you or not whether the client makes that decision. That's number one. And here's number two. I love what you said about wants versus needs. Most people that I talk to, especially coaches, will sit here and say, well, the reason that I do what I do is because people need, and then they go down this needs path. And I'm like, woo, pause, stop. But what does your client want that they know they want? Because sometimes we're offering things that the client isn't even aware of. And here's my example that I like to use. I have this guy, he walks into the hospital. He's about 60 years old. He has a broken arm. He gets a cast on it. 6 weeks later, he walks in, same arm is broken. He gets it cast on it. About 6 weeks later, he walks in, he gets the arm broken. That is not the time when he walks in and he's in the ambulance and he's coming in full pain with his arm broken for me to tell him that he needs skateboarding lessons. What he wants first is he wants his arm to be fixed. After I give him what he wants, I can tell him, you know what? While your arm is healing, because I've satisfied his want, you should look up skateboarding lessons because clearly you don't know how to skateboard. Most of the time, what people are doing is this guy is in pain and his arm is broken, and you're trying to sell him skateboarding lessons. He don't want skateboarding lessons at that time. He wants his arm fixed. So what you want to do, he needs skateboarding lessons. So what you want to do is you want to communicate first to what your client wants in a language that they want it, and then give them what they need. I get people all the time that come to me and say, oh, my only problem is marketing. My marketing just isn't good. And they want me to fix their marketing. And the first thing I do is I go look at their marketing. And then I go back and then I go, now let's take a real look. Because what you need is a value proposition and a methodology. What you need is a clear definition of your ideal client and a gauntlet of disqualification on who is not your ideal client. What you need is a single product instead of 800 products. What you need is a high ticket offer, and you start with that high ticket offer and work your way down. I have so many clients that are working the wrong end of the funnel, right? But what they want when they first come to me is they want me to look at their marketing. Dawnna, will you go look at my website? Will you take a look at my value proposition? Will you take a look at the pictures that I'm using and my color scheme? They're so worried about their logos and their color schemes that they're not paying attention to the things that people are buying. People are not, listen, people might buy Nikes because of that little swoosh, but they're not buying you because of your logo. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody's buying Fyrebrand because it has a flame on it. They're just not. There's a difference between brand recognition and a brand that sells. You might buy Nike now, but it took Nike billions of dollars in marketing to get to that point. I'm pretty sure that nobody in this room is investing billions of dollars in their marketing so people will buy it based on the logo alone. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. And if you don't believe me, go look at those brands that used to be really popular and sell for a whole hell of a lot of money that people used to buy just based on the logo that aren't being bought like that anymore. You can look at something like Carl Kanai. Carl Kanai used to sell for everything. Look at Rockaware. Rockaware used to sell for everything, right? And Rockaware is backed by Jay-Z. Look at WooWear, right? Those brands put money behind those brands so people would buy them based off the logo. Millions of dollars, not a couple of dollars, millions of dollars. You have to be willing to put millions of dollars in order for people to buy just based on your brand. But since you don't have that, you need to be able to tap into what people want first so that you can deliver to them what they need in order to get to the goal that they want to achieve. I'm going to say it one more time. Give people what they want first so that you can give them what they need so they can get to the goal that they want to achieve. What they want is whatever it is they came for. What they need is your methodology that'll create the transformation so they'll get to where they want to achieve. And that's what you need. Hey, Giuseppe, I see you came up, and I know Jared brought you up, but I wanted to go ahead and give you a shout out and ask you if you had any words that you wanted to share with the people.
Yeah, and real quick, I guess Giuseppe might have stepped away from the microphone. I'm sure he'll be back in a second.
Yep.
We're talking about qualifying, disqualifying. I know there's levels to the different programs that you have in terms of
Mhm.
the amount of foundation that they have in order to be a part of different ones. And I know the
Yeah.
one link at the top is a little bit different than the boot camp we were talking about in Orlando
Yeah.
before. For the folks that are curious, like, am I the right fit for the link above? What guidance would you give them, and what are you going to get out of the session on April 11th?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the guidance for the April 11th, it is a masterclass, coaching for coaches masterclass. I don't generally do anything complimentary unless I'm on Clubhouse. I really don't. Um, this is actually complimentary because my chief marketing officer, who I love, had actually put up the site before he put up the payment page. So I said, okay, well, just leave it complimentary. And so we're doing a coaching for the coaches masterclass. It's going to be held on the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the methodology that gets you into a sales frenzy. So we're really going to sit down and take this information and put it on steroids and work with you so you can see how this actually moves forward. So that way you can look at your own business and you can go, oh my gosh, this is what I'm missing. This is what I need. This is where I need to go back and work on, and this is how I move forward. That's really what this is all about, because a lot of times when I'm talking to people, they're stuck at a revenue mark and they don't know how to get past that revenue mark. We want to show you specifically how you get past that revenue mark. And as you can see, Abdul, Alicia, and myself, we're all speaking the same language and we're all seven-figure coaches, right? Abdul is a seven-figure coach that works with people specifically that are based out of Dubai. I'm a seven-figure coach that work with people here in the US. And then Alicia is a seven-figure coach, and she specifically works people in the financial services arena. We are very specific about what we do, and we want to make sure that you're crushing it because we've discovered the secret to doing it, but we know that doing it isn't free. And here's the thing that I do want to share with people, and this is probably just one of my little pet peeves. I hear people all the time. They're like, if they were going to start a retail store, right, that people can actually walk in, what, yes, Ruben, you can come out from under the couch now. If people were going to start a retail store that somebody was going to walk in, they would sit there and think of the things that they would have to invest in. The first thing they'd say, well, I have to invest in a structure. And then if they were selling clothes, they would say, I have to invest in the clothes, right? They'd have to invest in their product, right? And then they would have to say, I have to get that product for a specific type of client. And they would invest in recognizing what type of clients are in this area the most. And so they would probably do a little market research to make sure that they're getting the right clients. And then they would say, oh my gosh, and I have to put money aside for marketing dollars. So now they've put money aside for the structure. They put money aside to identify who that ideal client and do a little market research on that ideal client. They put money aside to buy the products and put the products in the store. They put money aside for the marketing, for the branding to make sure everything looks like nice, and the marketing. And they've even put money aside to make sure that they can get people from the front of the store all the way to the back of the store by creating a funnel of, here are these types of clothes at the front, which go with these type of clothes right here in the middle, which goes with these type of clothes here at the almost to the back. And then we got your shoes and purses and accessories all the way to the back. They're actually funneling you through the store. If you were opening a retail space that was going to maybe make you 10% profit, if you were really, really lucky, you would have $25,000 on the low end to get started. Here it is. I am telling you, you need that same structure, that methodology in order to have a business. Then you need to do a little bit of investment in order to make sure that we are really targeting your ideal client. And then you have to invest in making sure that we have the right product set up. And then we have to make sure we do your branding and marketing. And then, of course, create your funnels to funnel your customer from the front of working with you, of doing walking by, of getting all the way to the back of your store. And what people tell me is they want to do that for free. How in the hell does that work? I'm going to give you a 60, 70, and 80% profit margin. And yet the investment that you want to make is less than something that will only give you a 10% return on investment. Makes no sense at all. You really want to make sure, Ruben is amazing, Doug. You really want to make sure that what you're doing is that you are investing in a business, not in an idea, in a business. And you want to think of setting up your business structure the same way retailers do it. The structure of your methodology is equal to the structure of that brick and mortar location. The market research you do in your ideal client in your coaching business is the same type of marketing research that you would do in regards to foot traffic for your store. Buying the products that you would investing in the products and having those products structured is the same way that you would invest in products for a retail location. Same way you would invest in that inventory. And the way that you do your branding for your own business is the same way that you would do branding and marketing for a retail structure. The difference is Abdul, myself, and Alicia, we get you 60, 70, 80% return on investment. Those other places probably only getting you about 10%. You need to invest in your business like you're investing in a retail location. You have to treat your business like it is a business and not like it's a side hustle. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up. And what you want to do in your business, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jared. Were you going to say something?
No, finish your thought, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, you want to not just get attention in that foot traffic when people pass by and they recognize your brand. You want to be a thumb stopper. You want to be so epic that even your haters have plenty to talk about. That's where you want to be in your business. Go ahead, Jared.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, make sure if you're not already, make sure you click on Donna's profile, give her a follow, but also take advantage of this. Probably the last time she'll probably offer something for free like this. So click that
Yep.
link at the very top and take advantage of that free masterclass. It's going to be happening on the 11th. And also, when you click on it, share with anybody in your network that has expertise but needs to tweak their offer, tweak their value prop, tweak their methodology so that they can take their business from 5-figure a month business to a 6-figure a month, 7-figure a year business. Also, thank you to the Women in Business Club for letting us join this room, and check out all these people on the stage. We really appreciate you. All right, Giuseppe. So the reason why I brought Giuseppe up is because he has a really dope expertise, and I'll let him kind of tell you his expertise. And Donna, real quick, once he tells you his expertise, we'd love to get your thoughts on how we can take that expertise and turn it into a coaching business. And then
Okay.
we're going to go back into your content. But Giuseppe,
Okay.
please introduce yourself and like let the audience and Donna know what you do.
Thank you, Jared, to invite me on the stage. I'm a real estate investor. I'm Italian since 1991. I invested around the world before I started to invest in USA. Since 2006, I've been flipper over 1,000 property in Florida, and I have in Cleveland, Ohio, my rental program project. Coaching is all my life. Why? Because I changed myself, everything about my coaching. I received the coaching directly for the personal growth Tony Robbins, and when I start to invest in USA, directly by Grant Cardone. And in Italy, I had an incredible program, step by step. How can use the coaching, mentorship, coaching, training. First thing I use it work very well in Italy. A group on Facebook, free. Everybody started to follow you because you need to give them the motivation of why I need to follow you, why I need to trust in you. You start to give them free content, and they follow for what you do, not for what you say. For this now, I'm so very nervous because my English is not perfect yet, and the real power is not when you're speaking, but when you transfer, like I said, the eyes in your the light in your eyes, and the vibration in your voice, and you have this power if you have result in the back. And step by step, I give them 25 questions. With 25 questions, they have opportunity to jump in a private group. Was paid $7 per month, but what is important? The capacity of conversion. What I miss in USA is my perfect English give me the opportunity to have free contents group in payment group and
Mm-hmm.
mentorship training courses. And in this person, 100% of time, I transform in my business partner. And this give me the opportunity in Italian language yet. You imagine that in 6 years I passed from 0 property, 507 property today. Why? Because I drive to them with example. I was a leader for them. No, like sometimes people forget that coaching work very well because people follow if you are a leader. Follow me, I can show you how you can become a real estate investor, but step by step, I show you, not I tell you. That was my
Right.
strategy, and honored to be here. I would like to know about your experience. If you think that my scarcity English is a limit if I would like to start my podcast, my mentorship courses in one language like English that I know manage 100% yet. This is
So
Giuseppe.
so
I'm complete.
Hi, thanks, Giuseppe. And the one thing that I would say is, so if you guys know me anything at all, you know, one thing I do is give really honest, tough love feedback. So Giuseppe, this is what I would tell you. Number one, there is going to be a language barrier in regards to people completely understanding you. So, my first question would be to ask you, are there Italian Americans in the United States, a very specific niche market, who want to do more investment in the United States that you could work with? Because that's where I would start. I would start people who were native language speakers, and then I would move out, because I think that's going to be a very good target market for you, because it's a very specific market, and it's going to be people who are Italian Americans that speak Italian, that want to do investment within this country. I would target them hard, because guess what? No one is. That's number one. Number two, I love that you lead by example. I think that is so critical for coaches. I see coaches all the time that are saying, oh, I'm going to show people how to do something that they haven't done. I 100% do not believe in those coaches. I'll own that. And if you are one of those coaches, I'm just saying that happens. Number three, so you want to make sure that, I love that you are literally leading by example. Number three, while you are targeting that initial market of Italian Americans who are native Italian speakers that want to do investments in the United States, while you were doing that, during that time, I would challenge you to work with someone. I think it was Carrie. Yeah, I would challenge you to work with Carrie, because Carrie can help you do a little bit of clarity on your speaking and slowing down a little bit so that people can understand you better. And within, hell, Carrie will probably tell you better than I would, but I've seen people like her do this work within 3 to 6 months, where you are now targeting your English speakers, and you've already built your reputation in the United States, right? Not that you don't have a reputation, but I mean, you've built it among that particular group. That's how I would do it. That's how I would go after it. You're clearly successful. You clearly know what you're doing. You're clearly already, leading by example. Now I would just take it to the next step and make sure that your ideal client can clearly understand you so that you can get to the next level. And I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And most important thing is like all my life, I stop to talk when I have, problem of what people think about myself and take action. For this, I started 2 weeks ago my TikTok in English. Is my test because my all my investor I find it I use the YouTube channel. YouTube channel work
I
very well because
I personally love, first of all, I absolutely love that you're going for it. I love I love your accent. But I do recognize some of the challenges that you're going to run into, and I know a lot of people like to gloss over them. I want to make sure that I'm not glossing over them. It's going to be a barrier that you can cross, but again, you can work with someone like Carrie who can help you cross that barrier, and in 6 months I can see your YouTube channel, your TikTok channel, your podcast doing much, much better because of the clarity of your voice. And I would even challenge you to be very transparent about, hey, let me tell you guys what I'm working on. My goal is to expand myself into the American market and work with more people that are English speakers in the United States. And so one thing I'm working on is accent reduction and vocal clarity within how I communicate with people. And so watch my journey. Like, do a watch my journey, um, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, but do a watch my journey, and people will root you on and be excited for you and be right there with you every single step of the way. And then connect with someone like Carrie, who'll be the person who's like, hey, and I'm the person teaching them. Now you got this win-win. This is my coach helping me. I'm helping her by showing off her, and I have these people who are watching me grow and get more clarity while I'm talking about what I absolutely love. I think it's a marketing trifecta that cannot be beat.
Yeah, and what I love
Yeah.
about that idea too is the fact that people that see him on like video 10 of the journey, and if it's reminded in video 10, they're gonna watch from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4
Yep.
to 5, and his views are gonna just extrapolate because people are gonna be fascinated with the progression and the progress, and that's also gonna throw business towards Carrie or whoever Carrie can refer him to. So I love, 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 love that idea, Donna. I know we
Yeah.
only have about 15, 20 minutes left, and I see Bode and Falaki to the stage. So I want to make
Yep.
sure that we honor them and we give them a chance to ask a question. So, Bode, I'm going to pass it to you. Thank you so much for coming to the stage. Love your participation. And thank you, Giuseppe, for participating as well. If you're not following Giuseppe, absolutely make sure you follow him here, follow him on TikTok, follow him on Instagram, watch his progress. And also, he's on the best rooms on Clubhouse. So definitely want to tap in with him. But, Bode, thank you so much for coming to the stage. Hopefully, I said your name right. If not,
Yes, you
please
did.
correct me.
Yes, you
And
did.
let us know what your question is.
Yeah, so I have a question for any of the guys in the panel. Actually, I would love to hear from Dawnna. Good evening, guys. It's evening time in the UK. Thank you for dropping all the gems you've been dropping. It's really powerful stuff. And you as well, Giuseppe and Abdul. So I have a really simple question. I'm a
Hmm.
business coach, and I'm the type of information that I'm looking for tends to be more at a level that most people probably wouldn't think to ask. So my question for you, Dana, is like you're an accomplished businesswoman, you're doing your
Hmm.
thing, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you must have some challenges as well
Hmm.
in
Yes.
doing business. And I'm just curious to know what some of those challenges are and how you go about trying to resolve some of those issues.
Absolutely. My challenge is patience. And I'm gonna probably speak out of turn, but I guarantee you one of Abdul's challenges is patience. Most most successful entrepreneurs, we want things to happen fast because we know how they should happen, and we recognize if they're not happening as fast as we want them to, it's because there's something that we're missing in our own marketing or our own voice and our own label that we have to correct, and it drives us absolutely nuts. So my biggest challenge is within my own business is patience. I don't like to wait for it. I just want it to happen. Like the fact there aren't 800 people signed up for the coaching for coaches masterclass, even though it's complimentary, absolutely drives me crazy. Right there, and the funny thing is, we only put it out. What's today? Friday. We only put it out on Wednesday. Right. I don't have patience. I have all the patience in the world with my clients. I don't have it with myself.
Right. So, but how do you actually tackle that thing? Where's the place that you go to try and
I have
find?
I have three coaches that help
Right.
me tackle that. I have a
Right.
mindset coach who helps me
Right.
tackle my patience challenge. I have and then I also have my business coach. But then I have people like Ruben, which I think is kind of funny. So Ruben, who's in the audience, and also Doug, who is my coaching officer for Fyrebrand. Doug has an extreme amount of patience. And what I love about Doug is Doug, a lot of times he doesn't even know this, that he brings me back to it's all good. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. We're doing fantastic. This is an amazing company. I love working here. We love working for you. And I'm still like, why am I not Oprah Winfrey yesterday? Like, right? It doesn't, but it's one, and even though I've been very successful, I built a $250 million business. I turned $2,500 into $500,000 a few years ago just to show people how to do it. It is one of those things where I have to constantly go back to the till of my mindset coach and of my team to let me know it's okay. It's okay. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. My sales officer, who's also down in the audience, Michael Bentley, is also one of those people who is a great reminder to tell me, Donna, you know how many of your clients that you've gotten from 6 figure years to 6 figure quarters to 6 figure months? right? So I need those people to give me that constant reminder that, you know what, I am doing good work for good people. I am doing the right thing. But yeah, sometimes that's my biggest challenge is patience. I have patience with my clients. I don't have patience with myself.
That's dope. Thanks for sharing. I think you kind of answered what I kind of suspected,
Hmm.
and the reality is when you get to the level that you've gotten to, that's what you need. You need a coach who's an expert in the area that you have challenges with, because
Yeah.
it's not going
Well,
to get done any other way,
I have
especially
three
if you're
coaches.
impatient, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
have
go on.
three coaches, Bodie. I have a mindset coach
Mm-hmm.
who specifically helps me like keep my head from going like crazy, exploding because I have 1,000 ideas, and so they try to keep me very focused.
Mm-hmm.
I have a business coach who helps me with higher level strategies. And then I have my sales coach, who is actually my sales officer, um, that helps me stay true to the sales process and how I'm selling and what we're selling. And so he helps us stay true to that. And then, but I count on my team and I do mean that I count on my team. It is never one of those things where, whoa, I'm the boss. I am not the boss. I tell them each, you are the executive thinker of the area that you're working in. So Ruben is 100% marketing. He tells me what he needs. I don't tell him what to do.
Right.
My coaching, my sales officer 100% says, hey, these are the things we need to be doing now. And I'm like, and those are the things we're going to do. um, Doug, my coaching officer, he 100% says, listen, I was having a conversation with a client and I thought this was the best thing to do. And I'm like, then that was the best thing to do. They come to me when it's time to make a decision in regards to strategy, but it's my job to hire amazing people and then let those amazing people do amazing work, which they all do. They help keep my brain from going, why isn't it happening yesterday? And then they remind me, we're doing great work. Not that I'm saying they're doing a bad job. I mean, we as Fyrebrand, we're doing great work. We've changed the lives of a lot of clients. It's happening as fast as it's supposed to. You're doing a great job, because the only time I get impatient is I'm impatient with myself, right? And
Right.
they're like, you're doing a great job, it's all good. So I think having team and having the people around you that are going to keep it real, and by the way, who also give you a swift kick in the ass, is very important.
That is so key. That is so key.
Yeah, and they all do that. They all do that. They all give
Awesome.
me that. Yeah.
Awesome. Look, let me not hug the stage anymore. Thank you so much. You've actually clarified a few things that have been mulling in my mind, so I'll definitely take those on board and add that to my chest of drawers.
Absolutely. Hey, Bodie,
Can I,
I'm going to share one piece of thing for you. I'm
All
looking
right.
at your I'm looking at your bio, and you have entirely too many commas behind your expertise. You have music, author, trading, branding, well-being, clothing line, project management, business coaching, consultant, mindset, motivation method. I would have no idea what to hire you for.
Can I just say something, right? I did
Yeah.
that at the very beginning of when Clubhouse kicked off, and it was really just more about passion, not so much business. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't come onto Clubhouse that often because I've been
Okay.
so bogged down with work. But I do take that on board, and I will be switching that up in a very, very, very short, sweet, hot minute.
Awesome.
Make it very, very targeted and very directed to what it is that I do specifically. Thank you
Awesome. I
for
would I would not be a coach if I didn't make sure that you left here with the right thing. That's all.
yeah, and thank you for sneaking around and making sure that I'm on point.
Yeah, I'm
I
all in your
appreciate that.
business. I'm
I
all in your
hope I don't
business.
have. I hope I hope I don't have an outstanding invoice for that as well.
I'll send that to you later.
All right.
Abdul, did you want to say something?
yeah, I just wanted to add something real quick. So,
Mhm.
especially one thing I would say you should do is to learn to detach yourself from your, should I say, achievements or accomplishments,
Mhm.
because they will get to it. It will get to a point, for instance, where there will be ebbs. There is always ebbs and flow in business. There are times that, oh shit, you're getting tons of money, you're getting tons of sales, all the things are going as smooth as they should, and then there will be a point where the revenue is not as high. I mean, Like it's not as high as it probably will be on a normal season,
Hmm.
then you start attaching that to your self-worth. Like don't
Right.
do that. Like don't
Don't do
ever.
that. No. Yeah.
Especially, see, it will get to a point, for instance, maybe you're now operating a maybe 8 figure business looking into like 9 figures, and then you're thinking, well, someone else is doing this. There are three things that I would say will really help you. One, really understand that business is different from your personal life. Like, as much as you might be building a personal brand, all of this, you should still understand, you should be able to detach yourself from that persona that is out there, right? Because when you separate that, that is when you have peace. Every single morning that I wake up, I don't really look into the dashboard of how many sales are we generating or all of that. The first thing I do is I thank God for one, I have a place above my head. Two, I have people that love me. And three, I have food that I can eat. Once you understand to appreciate the little things, every of this other thing, yeah, the business is doing this and all of that it matters. I mean, no one wants a business that is not striving, or no one wants a business that is up and down, but you must understand that it is just the flow, right? It's like going to the sea. There are times that the wave and the tide is very, very high, and there are times that the sea is just calm, right? You must understand that it's just the face of life, right? So learn to detach yourself from things that are happening in your business. I'm not saying you should ignore your business, because when you are operating like a business, you should learn to be at the managerial role, remove yourself from the business, just oversee the business at a certain level, but still do not attach your self worth to what your business is doing, because life is very, very, like life is
Peaks and
very,
valleys.
very yeah, yeah, you need
Yeah,
to find
man.
the balance.
Nah, and I love that. And I think mindset, I mean, that's probably why Donna has a mindset coach. And, I read a lot of mindset books and a lot of mindset, because mindset is really everything. And at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you got to be ready for the peaks, ready for the valleys, and keep a calm perspective during both, so that you can continue to execute on your plan. But also, what I love what Abdul said is, really be focused on gratitude as soon as you wake up, because there's so many things to be grateful for, despite a sale not happening, or a deal not going through the way that you wanted it to, or a system failing, or a customer getting on your nerves. So really, really amazing advice, Abdul. I super appreciate that input. We have one last
Thank,
question for Lake. No problem, Bode. Thank you so much for coming to the
thank you
stage.
so much. I'm gonna bounce. I'm not gonna say anymore because I'm not gonna leave. All right, so I'm gonna bounce. All right, thanks guys. All the
No
best.
Thank
problem,
you.
man. And
All
I
right.
highly recommend you take advantage of that link at the top. Probably the last free thing that Donna does,
Ever.
um,
Ever.
outside of Clubhouse, which is this amazing masterclass. So definitely tap in with that, and I
Okay.
think you'll get a lot of great insight. But
Thank you.
Falake, thank you so much for coming back to the stage. Good to see you again, as always. Want to see if you have a question or a comment, real quick.
Thank you, Jared. Shauna, thank you so much for the gems that you're dropping
You're
this
welcome.
evening. I think the first thing I have to testify, um, I was in your room. It must have been, I think it was a couple of days ago this week, Shauna. And
Hmm.
sorry, Donna. I don't know
That's
why I got
okay.
Shauna. I don't know why I saw Shauna. Um, and I think it was my IG profile that you were auditing at the time, or maybe
Hmm.
even on Clubhouse. But very quickly, that night we went from I help female leaders articulate their true value so they
Hmm.
can transition to careers more aligned to the life they really want.
I
We went
remember.
from that, you do. We went
Hmm.
from that to I help female leaders in corporate boldly make their next big career move.
Yes.
Donna, between then and now, I have, I think I've had about 5 people just come into my DM just saying, hey, I'd like to have an exploratory call because that's what I do before I even sign people on. I don't know what words they saw that, that made the difference. And I'm like, but you guys have all been here before. I mean, you've all been sitting there. What were you doing? You know, and I
Oh my
actually have
God, I'm so
I
excited
actually
right
have
now.
I actually have part of my April just full of, these exploratory calls, and I'm like, what did I do? And of course, I remember that I just changed a few things, and I did the same thing on Clubhouse. So, thank you very much for forcing me to niche down, because
You are so welcome.
I have been so afraid to do that, thinking, well, this person may miss out, or I may miss this particular person. But honestly, and just the word boldly into that statement, believe it or not, I've also added it to the rooms that I'm coming up with
Right.
in April. So before I go to my question, thank you, Donna. Thank you.
And before you go to your question, I just got to say this to this audience because this is what we started off talking about at the very beginning. I said if you want to have a sales frenzy in your business, one of the things you have to have is a value proposition that speaks to your ideal client. Falaki,
Mm,
you had a value proposition. And what I
mm,
challenge you on, I'm like, but it's not speaking to your ideal client. It's not giving them a
correct,
result. Let's just
correct,
change it a little bit. And it took us what, like 5 minutes?
correct,
It
correct.
took us 5 minutes. But but what I love is it's not that I gave you the information. It's that you took it and did something with it.
Mm,
Right? And so you went and did something with it, and boom, what happens? Oh, these people are talking to me now. What?
mm,
It because you had a value proposition that now speaks to your ideal client so they can hear you. They can't hear
correct.
you when your value proposition is muddled. They can hear you when it's clear. I am so proud of you for taking action.
Thank you.
So proud of
Thank you.
you.
Thank you,
And
Donna.
thank you for coming
So
back and sharing that with me. That just gets my juices
thank
fired
you.
up.
I just pressed my bell when I saw you, in terms of the follow. And, when Jared Face shows up, it gets my attention anyway. So, anyway. So to my question really quickly.
Yes.
So I have a group coaching program coming up. I haven't said anything about it on Instagram. The next three rooms in Clubhouse, on the club that I host, sorry, are actually geared towards that particular program. However, I was just thinking through my strategy today, this morning with my business manager, who also, co-manages my Instagram page. And we were thinking, so I was a bit confused as to what do I use as a magnet for this particular program. It's a group coaching program only for a select few. However, should I be doing a Zoom webinar, a free Zoom webinar before this
No.
program, or should I just be looking at IG Live, or just stick to Clubhouse? I was really
Create
a bit
so
confused as to which is which.
So it's first of all, it's according to where your ideal client is. I would not do a free Zoom webinar. Okay. Do not, and I'm saying this to everybody in the room, do not follow my example by saying, well, Donna, you're doing a free masterclass. It is by accident. We don't do free masterclasses. So it's totally by accident. Okay. So don't sit there and go, well, she did a free one and she's telling us not to do it. It was a mess up. It was a mistake. It would normally not be free. It would normally cost $250 just for that masterclass. So do not do a free masterclass. If you're going to do one, put a price on it. If your audience is in Clubhouse, if your audience is on Instagram, then go where your audience is. And this is what you can do from a lead magnet perspective. You can create a really quick ebook. It doesn't have to be anything detailed. If it has a workbook that you can go along with it, something they can fill out, then you can go from the ebook to an upsell to the workbook. If you have an upsell to the workbook, then you can put a video with that workbook explaining how to fill it in, and then you can upsell that as well. And then if they're really interested, then you could say, if you do the ebook, if you fill it in, then I'll give you a complimentary strategy call to validate what you put in your ebook. It is the number one way for you to get people in your calendar actually talking to you, because the best way to actually get clients is to get clients to experience you.
Mm.
So while yes, I like the webinar, I don't want you to give away all your value in a webinar. You
Mm.
can do that. You can do that for paid, but not for free. And if you want
Okay.
to, you can take the people who got your downloadable ebook, and your ebook doesn't have to be crazy. It can be something simple. Who got your downloadable ebook and got your workbook and da da da. You can give them a complimentary webinar because they've already made an investment. But
Mm.
you don't give free stuff out to people who you don't invest in people who are not willing to invest in themselves. That's just throwing good time after bad money. Don't do that.
Mm.
Does that
I
make
actually
sense?
have the content already, Donna. I'm kind of just
Good.
repurposing it. So it
There you go.
honestly isn't costing me much. Maybe
It's
really
costing you
just an
time.
hour of my time. Exactly.
Yes. And how
Exactly.
valuable is that? Your
Yeah.
time is the most valuable thing you have. Do not give away your time for free. Like I said,
Okay.
I if they're listen, you'll get free people staring at your free shit all day long, doing free things with it, and then complaining that it's not good enough because they didn't make $1 million from it when they didn't invest 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give away your expertise for free. If people really want to do something in their business, they can make a small investment, whether it's $19 or $29 and $99 or $250. In our group, we actually have a private membership group. Our private membership group is $250 a month. And why is it $250 a month? Because people get the answers to their questions. They get examples and all the kind of things you're talking about. And we do that because it's valuable. We don't do like people are always talking about their free Facebook groups. We don't do free Facebook groups. When we have one of those, it's usually because somebody signed up for a challenge, and it's a pop-up group that we soon just get rid of. Why? Because a lot of these groups, people are like, I got 10,000 people in my group and only two people talking to you. You got 9,998 zombies, and the only
Mm.
people talking in that group are you and your admin. So don't do things for free. Do an ebook with upsells. That's what I would tell you to do.
Thank you. I think the
You're
other
so
thing I probably hear that you're saying is, so again, I have the rooms on Clubhouse, and I guess I
good.
can leverage
I would
those
leverage those, and
platforms.
it's
Yeah.
yep, and it's actually funny that you because one of the things that we were just talking about is putting in a downloadable. I just didn't have time to do it, but putting in a downloadable and something that people can buy and update to. It's totally worth it. It's worth your time. It's worth their money, and it delivers amazing value. Like a lot of people go to Fyrebrand.net and they download our ebook. Like that's a
Mm.
big deal. Like they download it because that's something that you usually buy on Amazon for $20, and we actually have it there for free.
Mm. I hear you.
So yeah, you
Thank you
can
so
definitely leverage
much.
that and leverage that
Yeah.
within Clubhouse for sure, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're so very welcome. I know we're 5 minutes past the time. Just wanted to make sure nobody else came up, so I didn't leave anybody out.
Nope, we're not leaving anybody behind. Great,
Okay,
great work as
okay.
always.
Cool, cool. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close out and just share a couple of things. I love that Abdul came up and Giuseppe and Bodie and of course Falaki and Carrie and Alicia. But what I loved about Abdul, Alicia, and I is that we're all like these seven-figure coaches. And here's the thing: notice how we're not competing against each other. Giuseppe, we're not competing against each other because here's the thing about seven-figure coaches, and I'll tell you this about me. I've never been hated on by somebody who is crushing out harder than me, ever. So when people are talking crap and they're not happy or whatever, I'm like, "Ugh, that's probably because you're a small person doing small things. And I'm working with big people who are doing big things. And that's where you want to be. You don't have to worry about what people are saying or listen to the chatter when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And what you want to do is you want to get to the point of saying hell yes to things that actually scare the hell out of you and then do more of those. It's not about being fearless, it's about being courageous. It's about having the courage to actually invest in your business and make a difference, right? And I ask people this all the time, like, why would you be opposed to going to a seven-figure coaching masterclass for coaches put on by a seven-figure coach who's actually going to give you the information you're looking for? Why would you be opposed to that? If you're not opposed to it, then just click on the link at the top and register. A seven-figure coach is literally going to put on a seven-figure masterclass and pour into you the information that you're looking for. And like Jared said, it'll probably be one of the last free things I ever do. But I really, really hope that you got a lot from this, and I hope that you learned a lot from it. And we're getting ready to do this amazing boot camp that's happening at the end of April. You can find out more about that if you want to at fyrebrand.net. We don't let everyone get in our boot camp. You do have to qualify. Qualifying is not nearly as hard as most people think. Qualification starts with having a phone call with me. Why? I don't want you to waste your money and I don't want you to waste your time. I also don't want to waste my money and my time because I pour into every person that walks in the door. And because I pour with every person that walks in the door, I need to make sure that I can actually deliver value to them. If I can't, I don't want them to waste their time or money being there. And I don't want to be in a position where I can't deliver beyond and above what they want. We want people to walk out making money. So the first thing I would tell you to do is check out the masterclass that's happening on the 11th. And if you're like, I got you on the masterclass, but I really want to go to the boot camp that's happening in Orlando, then that's not a problem. Just go and check out fyrebrand.net. Anyway, my name is Dawnna St. Louis. I hope to see you again. I really hope you enjoyed this. Please go ahead and follow me. I'm going to try to come back on here as much as I possibly can. But go ahead and follow me, and I'm going to pass it back over to Jared.
All right. Yeah, no, I'll just reiterate that. Definitely make sure you're following Donna. Click that link at the top. Join this free masterclass. The gyms that you're going to get off of Clubhouse are going to be well worth your time. And also check out firebrand.net if you want to take it really to the next level and get on Doug or Donna's calendar for their Orlando masterclass or boot camp on
Mm-hmm.
October 20, sorry,
On
April
April.
28th to the 30th. So thank you everybody for being here, and we will see you in these clubhouse hallways relatively soon. All right, y'all.
Talk to you later.